Mindset Money London, welcome ladies and gentlemen. With me here is now Florian Grummes, the CEO of the Midas Touch Consulting, and we want to talk about copper, the hot metal for 2020. Florian, welcome.
Hi Jochen, thank you.
Why is copper hot for 2020? Let's start with the technical picture.
Yes, well, we had big fear in the market, in the copper market in early September. Trade war basically drove prices down, sentiment very low level, and the commitment of trades were looking beautifully. They still look good, and well, copper since then is up, at least recovering, and some of the stocks are actually up double digits. And I think in the big picture we all know that there is a massive shortage at some point when we talk about copper. We see it here at the convention. You see India. They need a lot of copper in the future. Even the Saudis are here. We hear Brazil and China and America anyway. So the short-term picture was very bullish in early September from a contrarian perspective. And I believe that copper is right now in a rally towards $3. I think over the next 6 months.
$3, maybe a little bit more. Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, that's like a good 10 to 15% move.
Right.
Yeah, something like this. Okay.
And if you look at some of the companies, Freeport is up more than 20% already. First Quantum nearly doubled already. Capstone I think is up 20% or even more. So some of the copper stocks are already starting to move. And I think it's not too late. I mean, maybe, of course, short term you always have volatility and maybe a pullback, but I would buy any weakness in copper stocks over the next few weeks.
Okay, super. So that's like the short-term picture, let's say next 6, whatever, to 9 months, I would call it, yeah? Let's assume that maybe the recession is not that tough as Ronnie called it some minutes ago in his interview. But let's assume that the China-US trade war is diminishing, yeah? Hopefully, okay, because there are elections next year. And probably we go a little bit more back to normal also in the market commentaries. Could you imagine that copper over the next 2, 3, 4 years, in the light of e-mobility, in the light of infrastructure, of charging infrastructure, what we need, and in the light of a big supply deficit, could move significantly higher? Let's say 350, 450.
Yes, I think down the road, like if you talk about 5 to 10 years, for sure. I think the shortages will come to the consciousness of the people at some point. As I just said before, it's not only China, it's India as well. They're all growing massively, and e-mobility is a big topic, and without a doubt there is not enough copper.
Copper, yeah,
and
that's right.
As we all know in the mining industry, it takes long time, right? Probably more around 10 years until something is really in production. So
and also I cannot really recall about large mining projects going in production the next 3 to 5 years, meaning significant, like let's say above the 300,000-400,000 ton per year level. Honestly, there's not one project which comes to my mind.
Right.
There's something, let's say, on the horizon, probably, but as you said, 8 to 10 years is very likely that they are off. So from that perspective, demand is still rising, definitely. It's maybe a little bit slower for this year and next year, but also the supply is still not coming online. I think the recycling capacities are almost at 100%, right?
Yes, I think generally people totally underestimate the demand for copper over the next 5 to 10 years. Even over the next 30 years, I think it will explode. We're moving more and more into a digital society. You have huge cities being built in China all the time, and now also even India. As I said, Saudi Arabia, they start investing in big mining companies, and I think it's a very exciting sector, and it's been one that has been totally neglected. I mean, we all talk about e-mobility, but people are not really aware where the stuff comes from, right?
Exactly, and how much we need for that.
Exactly, so we need a lot. We really need a lot. So that's why I said I like copper, especially since it's beaten down and the sentiment still is slowly only starting to become more optimistic. So I think it's not too late to catch some of the beaten down.
Okay, super. Perfect. Florian, thank you very much. That was a short insight in copper. And I like it as you like it, definitely. And I also think with copper we're going to have big fun.
Right.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it was Florian Grummes, the CEO of Midas Touch Consulting. And you heard it, copper is hot. Copper is not only short-term hot, probably $3, maybe a little bit more, 310, 320 is very likely for next year. But supply is really shrinking, demand is rising steadily. And for the next 5 to 10 years, probably we can see much, much, much higher prices. So probably to have a look at copper producers is the one idea you should maybe do, and also maybe on the smaller side, let's say some mid-sized producers like a Copper Mountain, for example, it could be of quite of interest because that stock did not move so far. And yeah, check it out. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from London.
Bye-bye.